I haven't been to the circus in about a billion years, but one thing I know is that it's not carefree. However, you ask Mick Jenkins, his album is Circus, the song is Carefree, and essentially what I feel like it's about is attempting to be carefree despite the many factors that may disallow him from doing that. Those factors include being African American in a society that either veils its racism or has it come out in certain ways, such as him being asked, "Is this really your car?" And that person or people looking at him as an African American male and not as someone who is successful because they don't really correlate the two. And what he does is he puts it in this song that kind of works as a chill song that seems as though it's just kind of vibing. And it kind of works that way if you don't think too hard about it. When I heard the song at first, I was kind of like, this just feels like it's trying to be a laid back song with not much substance. And there's nothing wrong with hitting that pocket. It kind of works and a lot of people like it, so it's an easy cash grab. However, with Mick Jenkins, what he's doing is taking that idea of what I think his circus is going to be about, his new album coming out January 10th. When I said it wasn't carefree, the reason I said that is imagine being one of those animals in the cages or feeling like an animal in the cage. Usually people would look at you as a form of entertainment and they look at you as something to pretty much only have a specific means to an end. You have no way of being dynamic. You have no way of having multifaceted feelings about anything. And when you're trying to just simply relax, when you're trying to do those things, are always interrupted. The only time you really hear this frustration come out of Mick Jenkins in the song is on the chorus when he's like, "Damn nigga, let me breathe. Damn nigga, let me cook." And for those who don't know, slang for "let me cook" is just literally letting the best player do what they do best, letting them be able to have that space to operate. In this song, he does not have that space to operate. He feels almost trapped, and in a way, he's kind of having this very sort of normal reaction to being discriminated against, to being disrespected, and it's kind of just this sort of disappointed acceptance, being just kind of stuck with the sort of viewpoint that people have of him, which doesn't allow him to escape judgment and, again, letting him have those carefree things. Because honestly, everyone wants to have a carefree life. But the problem is, no matter where you stand, you kind of can't have that. There's certain aspects that being rich allows you to enjoy certain things without having any problems. But every level of success, or just every level that you stand at currently, has its own set of problems. Now, of course, I'm not against, I know people have been saying eat the rich, and I mean, just give me a fork, dude. There are problems that constantly come, and something that, at least I feel is a truth is that pretty much most of the time we live in moments. Most of the time there are carefree moments. And what I've realized is I just kind of want the happy moments to outweigh the sad moments, like any normal, rational human being. But most of the time, certain issues or things come up, and I have no choice but to deal with those things in order to try to attempt to get that happy level back up. So you're constantly trying to live a life of balance, which is incredibly difficult. And if your success wanes or if your success grows, they introduce new problems into your scope, and it makes it a lot harder. So for Mick, being a successful rapper, having to try to deal with this and having people around him challenge him and having discrimination, he naturally feels like he's gonna pop, which he mentions. He kind of says, like, people say it's just tough, but it's like, no, like, this is really bad. This is actually really bad that I'm dealing with this, that people are dealing with these things. One of my favorite things that he said next to talking about cars, which Tyler, Creator, actually mentioned in his too, Tyler mentioned the fact that he pretty much has gotten the same kind of treatment of being targeted by police because they don't think his skin color matches the car next to him. But the other thing that Mick says is the fact that people who look like him or people who look like us pretty much don't have that same avenue, that same autonomy of just living a normal life, of having anything be carefree, because someone will always attach some sort of stigma to who they are and prevent them from actually having peace. And unfortunately, that's just a true symptom of existing as an African American man, as an African American within a society, because we live in a society that doesn't really give us any freedom to just be ourselves. It always has to come with something. There's always a caveat to just existing, which sucks, but it is the truth. So yeah, there's no way a circus is ever carefree, and it just depends on which side you're on. It's an enjoyable song, and I think that he doesn't really have too many specific lyrics which have, like, it doesn't feel like he's like really saying anything clever per se. He does have things that are pointing out certain issues that have been constant, consistent, and I think that that's significant. Like I said, this works two ways. It just depends on which way you listen to it. I like it. I think it works as both, because he does talk about like other stuff, like hanging out, smoking weed. So overall, it's an enjoyable song, and I like what he points out in it. I like where it sent my mind. Thank you, Mick. And I'm excited. I'm mildly curious to see what the album will be like. Are you living a carefree life? If so, please donate to those of us who are not. I'll take it. I'm not gonna sit here and look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, no. Well, this guy says, though having a carefree life is very expensive, I choose to sort of save those fun moments and retain those because they're great. So I hope that you have some of those great moments and you retain them in your memory banks and you deposit them when you need them, but don't spend up all of your stuff. Save and build interest or something like that. Eat the rich.